Scene script. Have you ever wondered what the future holds for our planet? This is not just a whimsical question to ponder over a cup of coffee, it's a critical inquiry, a matter of urgency that demands our attention. The answer to this question shapes the world our children and grandchildren will inherit. It's a query that stirs curiosity, but also a sense of dread. Why? Because the future of our planet is inextricably tied to the consequences of our actions today. We're standing on the precipice of a new era, an era marked by environmental destruction. It's a topic that's been whispered in hushed tones, spoken about in closed rooms and debated in high-level meetings. Yet the gravity of the situation often eludes us. The world we know, the world we call home, is changing, and not for the better. Our lush green forests are being replaced with barren landscapes. Crystal-clear rivers are turning murky due to pollution. The air we breathe is no longer pure but tainted with harmful substances. The Earth's temperature is rising, causing polar ice caps to melt and sea levels to rise. Species are going extinct at an alarming rate, disrupting the balance of our ecosystems. These are not just isolated incidents, they are part of a larger narrative, a narrative of environmental destruction. The implications are far-reaching, affecting every aspect of our lives. It's changing the way we live, the way we eat, the way we travel. It's changing the very fabric of our society. Yet amidst this gloom, there's a glimmer of hope. We have the power to alter this narrative. We have the ability to make a difference. But to do so, we need to understand the severity of the issue. We need to realize that the problem is not just out there in some distant future, but here and now. We need to feel a sense of urgency, a sense of responsibility. The sustainability of our planet hangs in the balance, and it's high time we took notice. Our planet is suffering, and we are the cause. Let's take a moment to reflect on the ways in which our actions have been etching deep scars into the face of our home, Earth. Deforestation, for instance, is a significant concern. Every minute, an area equivalent to 50 football fields of forest is lost. We're not just talking about trees here. Forests are complex ecosystems that support a vast array of life. With each tree that falls, we're not only losing oxygen producers, but also habitats for countless species. Then there's pollution. Each year we produce over 2 billion tons of waste globally. That's the equivalent weight of over 100 million blue whales. This waste, much of it non-biodegradable, clogs our lands, rivers and oceans, poisoning life at every level. Climate change, driven by our relentless burning of fossil fuels, is altering the very fabric of our planet. The last 5 years have been the hottest on record. Glaciers are melting at an unprecedented rate, sea levels are rising, and extreme weather events are becoming the norm rather than the exception. And let's not forget about the extinction of species. The rate at which we're losing species is up to 1,000 times higher than the natural extinction rate. This loss of biodiversity threatens not just the beauty of our world, but also the balance of ecosystems upon which we all depend. These are the scars we're leaving on our planet, the legacy of our actions. The figures are staggering, the impact devastating. But these are not just numbers and facts. They're a wake-up call, a reminder that our actions have consequences, that we're part of a larger, interconnected web of life, and that the health of this web is intimately tied to our own survival. The Earth is crying out for help, but are we listening? If we continue on this path, what will be left for future generations? It's a question that weighs heavy on our consciousness, a grim reminder of the potential consequences of environmental destruction we're inflicting upon our planet. Imagine a world where the sea levels are steadily rising, swallowing up coastal cities and turning them into modern-day Atlantises. This isn't a dystopian fiction, it's a stark reality we're moving towards. The culprit? Our unbridled emissions of greenhouse gases that are causing the Earth's temperature to spike, melting the polar ice caps and causing the oceans to swell. But the devastation doesn't stop at the water's edge. Further inland, we're seeing an uptick in the ferocity and frequency of natural disasters. Wildfires are ravaging our forests, hurricanes are becoming more destructive, and heat waves are breaking records. These are not isolated incidents. They are all interconnected symptoms of a planet in crisis. Loss of biodiversity is another dire consequence we're facing. The rapid extinction of species isn't just about losing the beautiful variety of life on Earth, it's about the collapse of ecosystems that support us, that provide our food, clean our water, and regulate our climate. Now let's bring it closer to home. These environmental catastrophes don't just affect our surroundings, they directly impact human life and society. Rising sea levels and natural disasters displace people, creating environmental refugees. The loss of biodiversity threatens our food security, our health, and our livelihoods. The ripple effects are far-reaching, touching every aspect of our existence. We're not just talking about the destruction of beautiful landscapes and the disappearance of exotic species. We're talking about the potential collapse of societies, economies, and ultimately, the human civilization. This is the path we're on, a path of destruction and despair. But it's not just about the world we're leaving behind. It's about the world we're handing over to our children, to future generations. We're not just destroying our home, but also jeopardizing the future of our species. But all is not lost. There are ways we can reverse the damage. While the damage done to our planet is vast and alarming, it's important to remember that it's not irreversible. We have the means and the knowledge to heal our planet, and it starts with some key solutions. First up is renewable energy. We can harness the power of the sun, the wind, and the water to generate electricity. Solar panels, wind turbines, and hydroelectric power plants offer sustainable alternatives to burning fossil fuels. By investing in these technologies, we can drastically reduce the carbon emissions that drive climate change. Next, consider waste management. The truth is, we create too much trash. But what if we could turn that trash into something useful? Recycling and composting are two ways to do this. They reduce the amount of waste that ends up in landfills and oceans, and they can even generate energy or create nutrient-rich soil. Thirdly, reforestation. Trees are the lungs of our planet, absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. By planting trees, we can help to restore habitats, preserve biodiversity, and offset the carbon emissions we can't avoid. It's a simple, effective, and beautiful solution. And finally, sustainable living. This means making choices that are good for the environment in our daily lives. It could be choosing public transport over driving, eating less meat, or even just turning off the lights when you leave a room. These actions might seem small, but when millions of people make them, they can have a huge impact. But remember, these solutions aren't just for governments or big corporations. They're for all of us. We all have a role to play in saving our planet. It could be as simple as picking up a piece of trash on your morning jog, or as big as installing solar panels on your roof. Every action counts. As we move forward, let's remember that we are not helpless. We have the tools and the knowledge to make a difference. We just need the will to act. The power to save our planet lies in our hands. The time for action is now. Our planet, this precious blue-green jewel suspended in the cosmic void, is in our hands. We have the power to preserve it, to ensure it thrives for generations to come. Or conversely, we have the power to damage it beyond repair. The choice is ours, and the time to make that choice is now. Each one of us can contribute towards the preservation of our planet. It doesn't require monumental efforts or vast resources. It can start with small, everyday actions. Switching off lights when they're not needed, reducing water usage, recycling, composting, cutting down on single-use plastics, choosing to walk or cycle instead of driving for short distances. These are simple steps, but when multiplied by billions of people, they can make a significant difference. Consider the food on your plate. Did you know that by reducing meat consumption and embracing a plant-based diet, you can help to lower greenhouse gas emissions? It's another small change that can have a big impact. We can also use our voices to demand change on a larger scale. We can vote for leaders who prioritize environmental conservation. We can support businesses that follow sustainable practices. We can participate in or organize local cleanup drives, tree planting activities, or awareness campaigns. Remember, environmental conservation isn't just about preserving the planet for its own sake. It's about preserving it for all the diverse life forms that call it home, including us. It's about ensuring that our children and their children inherit a world that's healthy, vibrant, and bursting with life. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and powerless in the face of such a monumental task. But we mustn't let that discourage us. Instead, let it inspire hope and determination. Let it galvanize us into action. Because every action counts. Every single choice we make can contribute to the preservation or destruction of our planet. The future of our planet depends on the choices we make today. Will you choose to make a difference?